Welcome to the Story of Everyman, and tonight our guest is Lee Mathis and the Brutally Handsome Band. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Glad to be here.
Yes. So we have Jeff,
I'm over here.
Byron,
yes.
and Lee.
Right.
And we're missing a couple, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I think I owe a huge deal of gratitude to Peggy for introducing me to you guys.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would never cross paths. You know.
She's a great fan of ours. She
Yeah.
shows up to a lot of our shows, and it's great that you were able to hook us up.
Yeah.
You know,
It's so interesting because when she told me, "Hey, I'm gonna go watch this band," you know, I have not been to anywhere like the Rio. I haven't been to an environment like that in years, literally years. So, and then again, people all the time are like, "Oh, listen to this band or that band," and really, it's not a good band. So you're like, you're trying to muscle through it and go. It was a breath of fresh air to actually listen to a good band.
Oh,
and
well, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
So,
Absolutely.
and I'm not trying to like, you know.
No, please
Yeah.
continue.
I'm not trying to build you up, but it was really cool.
We need all you got, so
Yeah.
bring it on. When I met you, I thought you were like a figment of everybody's imagination because all they did was talk about you on All Things Longview and say where they saw you around town. And I was like, in my head, I thought they were really just photoshopping a guy and calling you by your name. I was like, this guy doesn't really exist. And then to find out you really existed, I was like, oh, he's a real dude. So it was nice meeting you, John.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny. I've heard people say that too, like
Right.
because I'll post like crazy, and people will ask like, how are you? How was he here and now he's here? But sometimes I'll post stuff that I made on a different day. I'll post it that day.
Yeah.
And that's where you get that. Like, how was he at two places at once? And as far as the band, what position would you say you call yourself? Are you the lead singer, the singer? What would you say?
The lead singer, and I play acoustic guitar, and Byron's a bass player and does vocals, and
Mm-hmm.
Jeff's the drummer, and Rio's our lead guitar player. So
Okay. I remember watching Byron at the Rio, and he just looked so serious. I was like I was watching from the table I'm sitting at. I was like, Byron looks mad or something.
No, I was having a good time. Sometimes I just,
Yeah.
there's a lot of pictures of me not smiling on stage and having a good time. Yeah.
I was like, man,
I
don't know
start
if he was-
smiling and people are like, what's wrong with him now?
So the smiling is the exception. They're like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
He's in the zone.
Yeah.
You know, he's doing his thing, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it was just.
that's
and I
actually
was-
that's actually one reason that I wear the shades on stage is because I squint a lot
Yeah.
on stage, or my eyes are closed. And so before I wore the glasses, besides just having lights in your face,
yeah.
we'd have I'd see pictures of the band or something, and my eyes would be squinting or closed, and it just always looked so bad. So I'm like, well, I'll fix that.
Yeah.
Plus, being a Hank Jr. fan,
I just thought like you were going for a look, like ZZ Top or
well,
or something.
it is
a good look.
It's kind of evolved.
Yeah.
yeah.
It is a good look. It's pretty cool. I felt like, I mean, I don't know you guys well enough to know like your reach, but I was like, dang.
By the end of the night, you're going to know us really well, John.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So,
Jeff wearing pants tonight, I didn't even check.
Yeah, you're going to be trying to stay
Don't
out
ask
of
me to
Jeff's
stand up.
reach.
Oh man, how old were you when you realized that music was something that you were passionate about? Not necessarily that you wanted to do it, but you knew that you kind of liked that. But how old do you think you were, Jeff?
It was pretty early in my life because music was constant. And so I would say I knew by age 11, 10 or 11, that I was going to play an instrument.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but I was completely into the idea of being musical, because my dad was always playing his guitar. Everybody was always singing, and so I was like, this is what I want to do something.
what would be the type of common music you would hear your dad listening
Oh,
to?
with my dad, it was country music.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. The OG country is what he listened to. I mean, at a very early age, I was listening to things that was recorded in the 30s and 20s, some old yodeling country. And then he introduced me, obviously, to some of the newer stuff at that point, Hank Jr., Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, etc. But because of my dad and his music, but I also had my sisters and my brother who were more into some of the rock, obviously, and so we would listen to a lot of Boz Scaggs and Supertramp and all the stuff that was in that 1979, 1980, 81, 82 stuff was always being played. And so I had a pretty well diverse type of music that I was going to get into, but I was also into sports. I loved sports, and I wanted to play football. All right.
By sports, he really means girls.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're going to get there.
That came
That's
later.
why he means
I'm pretty sure
music
that's going to
also.
come in.
But I remember when I was 11 years old, I wanted to play football
Yeah.
because I was always playing football out in the street. And I came home and said, Mom, I'm joining football. And she's like, my mom was like, no, you're not. She was very protective
Yeah.
of me, And I said, well, if I can't play football, I'm playing drums. So even at 11, I was like, you're going to
Should've gone
listen
with football. She
I know. She's like, you're going to listen to a drummer in the house banging at 11 years old, or I could be. And so she was like, no, you can play drums.
Okay.
And so that's where it kind of all started.
Was your dad cool with that? Was your dad cool with the drums?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there any Ozzy in there? I was a big Ozzy fan.
Ozzy came in say high school years.
Okay.
85, 86, 87, 84, during that time period. Yeah.
Byron, what about you? Tell me about your.
My dad was the director of the Longview Parks and Recreation Department for a while, and could almost play the radio, and that's about it. My mother, on the other hand, was a classically trained pianist.
Oh, wow.
Had her master's in music education, taught piano out of the house, was the pianist for the Longview Symphony Orchestra, First Baptist Church downtown, the Kilgore Choir and Chorale departments over at Kilgore College. So I'd always grown up around music, and I first started playing cello, I think, when I was 4 or 5, and it was kind of like, hey, I'm friends with the cellist in the symphony. He can teach you. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. It didn't last real long.
Yeah.
But Mom's rule was if I took 5 years of piano from her and I learned the instrument and learned the theory and mechanics of music and everything, then she would pay for an instrument and other lessons like that. So I think I took about 7 years of piano from her, mostly church and gospel type music, a whole lot of classical stuff because that's what she did. Then ended up picking up the bass, and I think when I was probably about 12, I believe.
Did bass come
13.
pretty easy to you?
Started out playing a little bit of guitar and play bass. Figuring it out was not difficult. Like figuring out still, it's always difficult.
Yeah.
Growing, but it wasn't real difficult, and it was easy to find a gig because in junior high and middle school, everybody played guitar, and I was the only bass player. So it's like, all right,
So
I'm in a band.
So is it safe to assume that you grew up, or you're from Longview?
Yeah, I'm from
Okay,
Longview.
okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. What about you, Lee?
Well, this is actually the funniest part is that I was sheltered on music as a kid. I didn't
really?
get to listen. All the stuff that we play now, I did not get to listen to growing up.
Was it religious reasons?
Maybe indirectly, it just, for whatever reason, it just never came up.
Huh.
I remember the very first concert my parents took me to was Barry Manilow. and I mean, I was.
That's not too bad.
I
Teach
was-
them young right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I must have been 6
Yeah.
or something. And then the next one was Kenny Rogers. And so obviously, that's a little bit more.
They took you to a Kenny Rogers concert?
Yeah. Kenny Rogers and Tammy Wynette opened that show. So
Oh.
that was really cool. But I didn't get to listen to a whole lot of that stuff. And I remember when I was in the 8th grade, I had I had a computer literacy class, and back when computers were still kind of, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
And the teacher in there, I remember he would put on the Hank Williams Jr.'s Greatest Hits Volume 3, and he would just let that play. You couldn't get away with stuff like that today. Talking about drinking and.
Would you say like that was your first time actually listening to Hank in that?
Yes, absolutely. So it kind of started with Hank, and then I kind of hit a little bit of a. In the mid 90s, I kind of hit a little bit of a rock era. So I kind of was more into guys like the Eagles and Tom Petty and ZZ Top and stuff like that. And then I finally kind of started coming back around. So, I mean, when I really started listening to Waylon and Willie and Merle and stuff, I mean, it was years and years after those songs came out. And then, you know, it's kind of, but I mean, that's just what I connect with the most. And
did y'all listen to Merle Haggard?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I catch myself talking to Jeff all the time saying, you know, we'll be talking about like soft rock or yacht rock or stuff like that. Cause just, you know, stuff that, you know, I'm catching for the first time. Of course, Jeff's known about it ever since it originally came out, but I was, you know, so I'm coming back and getting in on some of it now, and even some of the stuff that Byron listens to, like Earth, Wind, and Fire and
Grateful Dead.
Dang,
Grateful
you listen to
Dead.
some Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, that old 70s funk and stuff like that.
Cool. Was that a point in time when you were like, this is what I like, this is what I'm interested in?
Well, I was in a band where it was kind of a duo, and the other guy actually did most of the country stuff, and I did most of the rock stuff, which was, and then when that band didn't make it, and the Brutally Handsome kind of started coming around to be, and because I really hadn't thought about fronting my own band. I was just kind of going to be the guitar player or kind of maybe the side man or something, and then it kind of went to where we, you know, when I started the Brutally Handsome and started coming up with some of these songs, and some of them that we do literally every weekend are songs that we've done from the very, very beginning, old Johnny Lee songs and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it finally just got with me that no, this is what I need to be doing.
You guys grow up.
I didn't.
Tell me about growing up. Like, no, tell me about growing up. Go ahead, right? You were going to say?
Oh, me? Well, I grew up, like I said, my dad worked for the city. I ended up around at all the swimming pools, every single city event, softball tournaments out at Hensley, everything. Did that. Mom was dragging me to just about every church performance and choir I could get into. I grew up literally underneath her piano, like stuff like that. It's just something that's always been a part of me. She did everything she could to keep me from being a musician because she was a full-time musician for all but like 12 years of her life. She started young. She did that her entire life. And she's like, she knew how hard it was, but she also knew how fun it was. And she's just kind of like, if you get a good job, you can buy all the guitars you want. It's like, I only need like 2 of them. I'm just going to play those and we're going to have fun with that.
Cool. Have you been in other bands before this?
I used to play for Sarah Hobbs, Texas country singer from Jefferson.
Okay.
Fabulous singer and great girl. She's been playing around here, I think, over at Key Mexico. She's playing over at Tijuana here in town also. Played in a handful of bands when I was living in Waco and Orlando as well. But
is this your favorite band that you've ever played for?
Oh, this one's been a lot of fun. This one's been probably the most fun. We got to do a bunch of traveling, see a bunch of places, get back to a bunch of places a lot. Made really friends and family at some of these venues with the people that you work with every single time in and out. So it's been fun. You start building relationships with people that you get to see about every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and it's kind of like, oh, hey, you catch up real fast. How's your kids, wife, everything? It's real funny. Like we just get to build relationships everywhere we go.
How'd you come to meet the individuals, or how'd you end up in the band?
I was playing with Sarah at the time, and was playing in the the jam night scene at all the bars around Longview when more of them were still open. And Lee'd always come up there to the jam nights and sing some songs, or he'd come to the shows that I was playing that's there, and he's been bugging me.
For 5 or 6 years before he joined the band.
Probably about 10 years he's been bugging me about coming and playing with him. And then during COVID, it all worked out. He needed a bass player, so I stepped in, and that went swimmingly. And then everything with COVID just kind of got shut down, you know. It was all a holding pattern, so we're like, all right, we're going to keep doing this.
Did you know his background in music before you asked him to come on?
I mean, not that far back, but I mean, you know, he had been, like I said, he had been going to the jams, and I mean, he's always a great bass player, and that I saw, and just real cool to talk to and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I always knew he could do it. And the first gig he played with us, I mean, he literally like learned 50 songs in like a week or whatever.
Wow.
So
It was a 5-hour show,
yeah,
at the casino.
mm-hmm.
That's impressive. So Jeff, what about you? Tell me about you. Growing up, what was it like?
Well, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was interesting. My family is a very unique family, I guess you could say, because they definitely didn't follow the normal rules of society. My dad was a traveling man. He traveled a lot working, you know.
Okay.
And so we were always on the go when I was a kid. But Tyler is my hometown.
Okay.
That's where I went to high school. That's where I consider home. My dad and his brothers would find themselves in a lot of funny situations in life. It's just because they would purposely go to go to any kind of situation that could make someone laugh. I probably started at a very early age knowing that I loved seeing what the people on stage, the attention they were getting was very attractive to me. And so I did realize that at an early age that I wanted to be on the stage.
Ladies is what he's getting at.
I wanted to be on the stage and play music because it is very comfortable behind the drums.
Right.
Because I am shielded. I have my drums, and I'm sitting down. I'm not the front man.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to stand up and sing. I don't have to do any of that. I have my little comfort zone back there in the back, and I'm perfectly happy being behind and almost sheltered from.
Well, y'all always get like a 2-minute drum solo somewhere.
Not in country music. We don't have to do that.
Plus, he gets to stare at my ass for like 3 to 4 hours straight.
He has to pay me extra for that every night.
He hides behind the drums, and the audience has to look at me all night.
Not smiling.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Man. Well, that's cool. I guess you got to see, you know, when you went to all these concerts, you got to see how those bands got the ladies. Like,
absolutely. Well, it wasn't really all that, but
what you did.
I did,
What you did.
you know, that's just
Side
you know,
quest.
yeah, just whatever you want to call it. But but it was more of the. I just love the camaraderie on stage between all the musicians and whatnot, and it was so much fun watching them communicate musically on stage.
The 4 of us are all just really, really good friends. I mean, these guys literally are my family. But I mean, we have, you know, just all the joking around that we do, and we just have so much fun.
Was there ever a time where you did think, maybe this isn't for me?
Oh, absolutely. When you're driving home at 3:00 in the morning, you're like, what am I doing? But it's ongoing drive, whatever you want to call it. I was born to want to perform,
Right.
you know, and when I didn't, I was longing for it because there was years, like I told you before, I worked in the oil industry, in the oil field. And when you work in the oil field, you don't get to play music. You can listen to it on the radio, but you don't get to play music because you don't have time to do that kind of stuff. And I missed it.
What about you guys? was there ever a time where you just thought, maybe this isn't what I should be doing?
No.
Sometimes
always is going to be something I'm doing. It'll be something that I'm always doing. There was a period where I was married, or I still am, but when we were just married and needed a job and life came up and got busy and everything, and just it wasn't a time or a situation where I could really be out playing. So I was at home jamming and practicing and everything, but it wasn't the real front burner type activity because, jobs, life's expensive.
Yes, it is. So you did have to go out and do some jobs, but still have.
I used to be in law enforcement in Gregg County. I've done, I've had the yarn company I told you about. We ran a tie-dye company for a little while. We're both realtors here in Longview. So if you need any help buying or selling real estate, you get in touch with me. The
Gotcha. I know so many real estate
Terry
agents.
Norwood real estate team. She's gonna love that.
Yeah. What about you? Said no. You've known you wanted to do this.
No, actually, the funny thing is a lot of musicians, including me, I've seen jokes online before that's where it talks about musicians having crippling self-doubt, and so I doubt myself on a daily basis sometimes with it, but at the end of the day, it always boils down.
I can verify that.
Yeah.
We do also.
Yeah. Great. But at the end of the day, it always just boils down to, this is what I was born to do.
Yeah.
And I owned a budget blinds franchise for several years, and I sold it actually this year, and so now literally music is what I do, only thing I do now. So
what was your reasoning behind wanting to sell budget blinds?
Well, it was just it was time, things within budget blinds, but one of the things is that I'm in a situation now where I just we play so much, and so the more we play, the less I want to do blinds, to the point where it was just like, why am I paying royalties every month and doing all this if my heart's not even really in it? Because I know where my heart is.
Right.
And so, just to be able to focus more on being able to do the music and write songs. It's so hard to write songs when you're busy playing all the time, or when you're busy working all the time. You've got to have some kind of downtime to where your brain can just start rhyming lines. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
Now tell me about, because we all know, musician life, right? And it's probably not any different. What are some struggles that you guys have gone through together or individually, being musicians, whether it be drugs, whether it be alcohol, whether it be relational, children, legal, what are some things? I feel like you're an angel. I almost feel like you don't have any problems legally.
Oh, I'm probably. Oh, yeah. This should be fun.
Yeah.
No, we've all had issues in the band, growing pains at times, disagreements. I don't like you today. I'll like you tomorrow, but I don't like you today type stuff.
Yeah.
We've had players.
when did that happen? No.
I'm gonna like you tomorrow. We've had players come and go. We've lost a keyboard player, Johnny Griffith, that played for Dag Nabbit and other various bands around here. He passed not long after he left the band. We had another guitar player from the DFW area named Will Wales, an absolutely phenom on guitar, played with a bunch of bands around the Dallas area, and he sadly passed too. So we've had some people come into our lives that meant a lot to us and we did a lot with, and we've got all these memories of that we lost too soon.
So have y'all like drugs? Have drugs played a role in your life at some point? And how did you overcome that?
Alcohol was more mine.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I used to not drink at all.
Let me ask you, like, how often do people ask you about it? Like, because I'm asking you about it. How often do people just have that kind of conversation with you?
About,
Just like,
well, a lot of people know that I used to drink pretty heavy and that I got sober. And so I've had some other musicians reach out to me and about that and you know, asking how I did it. And I'm still trying to figure out how I do it.
did you go cold turkey?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did. I'm one of those people where it just finally has to, logically, it didn't make sense to do it anymore because every time I did, I mean, I drink a whole bottle of Jack or a whole bottle of vodka or it didn't matter. I enjoyed it all, but I would literally drink an entire bottle. And first of all, I'm just lucky that I'm even here after doing that. But you know, I would be sick. I would be like not throwing up like hugging the porcelain, but I'm talking about like literally, you know, have just shakes for days and days and days, and it would take me a week to actually recover from drinking one night. And my whole thing when I drank was I was a good social drinker because I you know, I would drink with the band when we did, and we'd have little get-togethers and drink, and I would probably overdo it, but not as much as I did. My biggest thing was just a random Monday at home by myself. Or a random Tuesday or something. If I didn't have a gig till Wednesday or Thursday, then Monday I would just annihilate myself and it was just a terrible way to live. And I would be that Wednesday gig, you know, people would say that the gig sounded fine, but I was literally just white knuckling the guitar the whole time, just hanging on for bare life. And, you know, I remember the last time that I drank, I went to a friend's birthday outside of Kansas City, Missouri. And, I was pre-gaming in the car. He actually had a tour bus, and we got on the tour bus, and we all knew where the liquor cabinet was there, and when everybody else went to bed, I just sat up for a while and found the liquor cabinet and just freaking killed a bottle of, or dang near killed a bottle of vodka, and it was just and then the next day I didn't have a gig till that Wednesday, and that was on a Sunday night. So that next day, I checked myself into a hotel with a big bottle of Grey Goose, and I just totally just drank myself to passed out and woke up and drank and passed out again. And to this day, I can't even tell you why. But then I had to drive from Kansas City back home to play shows towards the end of the week. And I was, you know, even that Saturday, I was dying. I was sweating. I was shaking uncontrollably. And, you know, I finally logically just had to say, I can't do this.
Right.
And the little buzz that everybody searches for when they drink, with me, it literally lasted 5 minutes, but I would drink so fast that I would just drink totally past the buzz. And so, you know, that 5 minutes of that buzz turned into a week of just, you know, detox shaking and stuff like that. And so I just went cold turkey quit.
Right.
And it was,
Well,
and these guys also were very, very supportive and very, I can't even thank them enough for that.
but you're not the same individual you were back then.
No.
Like,
No, he's not.
what was it like watching him go through that?
Well, there was moments, I remember there was a moment where Lee was no longer there. His body was there,
Yeah.
but he was gone. you know? And so that was early in my playing for Lee.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Because my daddy was a drinker.
Yeah. So you already knew some of this. Yeah.
I did. And maybe that's why I'm not a drinker, because I knew how it affected my mom, you know? He was a gambler and he was a drinker. I don't gamble and I don't drink. But I remember saying goodbye to Lee. I was like, lights are on, but nobody's home. Lee has left the building, you know, because he drank to that point. And so that's when I was getting to know Lee. And now, as his friend, I'm, you know, I see signs. Are you holding it together?
These two also double as my psychologists.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd worry
You
about
can
that.
see our handiwork here.
Yeah.
Gonna have a podcast about that. What broke Lee? We did.
Did you have a conversation with him when you decided to stop, or did they just see it, you know, like, oh, now he's doing something different? How did
We knew it was coming because
it was getting bad, right? It was
Well,
just getting
we
bad.
knew he was in Missouri, and we knew he needed to be back in Longview. And another former member of the band contacted me and was like, he's still in Missouri in a bottle. So it was kind of like, oh, so we had to get him back and everything. But yeah, it's been since then, like, he's been open about it. Like,
during the heavy use, what's his attitude like? I'm fine. Don't.
Well, this is one thing about Lee.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm interested to hear this.
Lee,
You're getting some diagnosis.
no,
Y'all are a few years too late on the intervention.
what he loves playing music. He loves the brothers in the band. He loves performing. And he hates when he lets the audience down or he lets his bandmates down. He lets the music down. He wants to perform at his best. And when he's not, he's mad at himself, which can bring down a lot of you know, feelings that he has, you know, and last thing he wants to do is dive into that bottle again to let the band down. He really would be hard on himself because it wasn't really what he did to himself, what he did to us, you know. And so we're always there like, Lee, it's okay.
That's cool.
Well,
that's amazing.
I will say, you know, kind of reiterate. I mean, for the shows, I didn't drink at gigs usually. I mean, there was a moment where I'd, you know, have a drink or two, but, you know, there was a while where I was the only guitar player in the band.
Uh-huh.
And so I was obviously the lead singer. So I had, you know, we don't have any kind of iPads or screens on stage. So you just have to remember the lyrics and the chord changes and the keys and everything. So most of the time I was great, or I was fine at the gigs. My thing was just always on off days.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I've always said it's that random Monday or something that always did me in.
And he's a great communicator. Like, we communicate all day, every day.
Yeah.
And when he goes AWOL,
No,
we
that's
all
the sign. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, have you heard from him in the past 4 hours?
That's when we
No.
start freaking out a little bit. And sometimes it's nothing. He's working.
yeah.
A lot of times it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't drunk text. So if they don't hear from me, then that's my drunk
Yeah.
texting, I guess. There was this app that I had that would basically track, and it would tell you when you're 2 months sober, 3 months sober. And so, you know, I would start posting on Facebook or whatever that, you know, a screenshot of that app showing I was 4 months sober, 1 year sober, 2 years sober. It got to the point where that was actually putting too much pressure on me.
Yeah.
Because they're, you know, it's not like they're expecting me to send out something every month showing that I'm sober, but it's just something that I felt like I needed to do. And if I didn't do it, if I didn't post that, then it was, you know, then is he back on the bottle again? I mean, because I write a lot of songs about drinking.
Yeah.
And because that's what I've spent years and years doing.
Did you see that a lot? Did you see that in your family like you did growing up?
No,
You didn't?
no, I didn't. Neither one of my parents drank,
Okay.
um, or smoked or anything. I mean, they were pretty much teetotalers and
I have no idea what that means.
So I should have been
just didn't drink at all.
Oh, okay,
I should
didn't.
have been the alcoholic then.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're either going to do what you did, which is not do it because you've observed it, or you're going to fall into the pattern.
Yeah.
You know. And same, like, it's interesting that. So there's a lot of theories that go into like substance use, and typically they're, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it was probably a coping mechanism for something in your life.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
And if I would have had, I did drink more on stage when I actually had a couple of, like, this is way back before COVID and way back before these guys joined, but when I did have a couple other guys on stage, I did drink more. And because I was kind of new into the music scene, and we were kind of doing more of an outlaw thing. And so, there's a
part of the deal, right? Just,
there is a little bit of a, kind of something that you got to live up to the stuff that Hank Jr. and George Jones did and stuff like that. But, that was the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And you just, you can't no show like these days. You'll just never play again, like George Jones did back then. So you got to kind of keep it more between the lines. And so and then once I became the only guitar player in the band, I tried to keep it tried to be more professional on stage, and it was just those off nights.
I commend you on the decision to change and encourage, your success in that.
No, I couldn't have done it without these two at all. And even to this day, I mean, it's them and.
If I say we can't take all the credit.
No.
Lee's got quite a support group that surrounds him through all of this. Like,
ladies, like, who's married, who's not, who's actively.
I've been married since 1998. My wife is Kara, Kara.
I'm definitely going to get that wrong.
Yeah.
Kara.
Yeah, we have one daughter. Playing in the Brutally Handsome brought our wives together, and they become really good friends. Abby, his wife, and my wife met for the first time when I was doing a gig.
What was your first gig?
Which was my first gig at Luckenbach, down in Luckenbach, Texas. And they hit it off immediately.
Yep.
You had the camaraderie of the band, and you have your brotherhood on stage, but it's so nice to see that the wives and girlfriends all get along. It helps.
I was over here doing the math, so I didn't screw this up. February will be 19 years I've been married. Yep, she's from Longview also. Her dad was also, before my dad was the director of the parks in the city of Longview, her dad was. And the Paul G. Borman Trail, Paul Borman is my father-in-law.
Oh, really?
So we've literally grown up, both of us, in all the parks, and just about anything the city would put on. We were either dragged down there or voluntold, and it was a lot of fun. But
how did y'all meet?
We actually found a picture in her grandmother's Bible. I think I'm 3, and this is her 5th birthday party, and we're sitting on the front steps of her parents' house. But her dad was working at either City of Plano or City of Richardson, and my dad was up there also. And whenever Paul came down here to work for the City of Longview, there was apparently an opening. So then we came down here. So I've just about known Abby my entire life.
That's
awesome.
Cool. That is
awesome.
Dude. What about you and Carrie?
Carrie and I have been together now about 13 months.
Okay.
We met in November last year, and that's when we kind of called it official. I had the greatest pickup line for her, though. I told her that if she would come to the show, that I would get her in free to Western Days. It was a free event, but
it worked.
It worked, yeah.
Oh man!
So, and she stuck around in spite of everything, and she's been something that's really.
She's been a blessing.
Yeah.
To have Carrie in the band, it's been awesome. She's brought a new energy to it,
Yeah. Have you ever been married?
Yeah, I was married once, and honestly, when that divorce was happening, that's when a lot of the drinking started.
Oh, okay. How many years ago was that?
About 2017 or so. So
Okay.
I mean, it was 7, 8, 9 years. So
It's impressive that you and I watched this. Like you didn't use any. Do y'all use clicks or anything?
We can pull it off. Yeah, we don't use
It
any
looks
click
so
or
good.
anything. No tracks.
Yeah, it looks so good. So
We appreciate that.
oh man, thank you.
We're real.
how many
preppy.
bands do you like? Good bands do you see do that like without having the iPads or having something to assist them? For somebody to say, "Hey, play this song," and you do it just
Well, honestly, it's because you have to put in the hours,
yes.
you know, and we've all been playing music for many years,
Mhm.
but we also take it very seriously. But we're having a good time on stage, right? We're goofballs, we're having a good time, but underlining, we're taking it very seriously from the very first note to the very last note. It's all rehearsed,
Right.
but we're having it's not improv, but we're having a good time, but it is rehearsed over and over and over again.
Does sometimes the venues do they play a role in how well you do?
Absolutely.
For example, like you don't get everything that you need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Venues can
We
make
don't
or
ask
break.
for a lot from venues. Like, no, we're not bowl of M&Ms with no green ones or whatever. Nothing like
But the stage itself can make a difference.
Yeah, well,
There's some
yeah, like-
stages that we played on that me and Byron were wondering if we're going to fall through.
Yeah. Where's the most memorable or favorite place that you've ever played at?
One of the ones that just made me really stop and go, dang, we're really accomplishing something now, and is Lukenbach.
Okay.
To be such a Waylon Jennings fan that I am, and even have one of the leather wrapped Telecasters like he played, and then to finally be able to play at Lukenbach and is just that's. I mean, there's several places, but that one's one of the oldest places that we've played. That just literally every time we go there, there's no place like it. The staff just absolutely just runs up and hugs us. There was this old cowboy that was kind of like the face of
the
Lukenbach.
sociable security guard, I believe, was his title.
Yeah.
That was Virgil.
But Virgil, yeah, and he would come up to us and just hug us all, and his hugs were infectious, and his laugh was, and he told the greatest stories, and he passed away. Was it last year? I think.
I believe so.
Oh,
A little
man.
bit.
What about you, Byron?
One real fun night, we played a place in Fort Worth called Tulips.
Yeah.
We were opening for Ward Davis down there, and it was kind of a smaller club type thing versus a big venue. And Ward and his people at the bar, something just beeped real loud.
Keep going.
Okay. They welcomed us there at that place. Everybody treated us like we were family. Everybody there, from the staff to the bartenders, the sound guy. We had a ton of friends from the DFW area come in and see us. They just packed that place out. Ward and his band are all such good guys. It was just a fun night. It was.
If I can tell a little story about Lukenbach, we played a show down there a few years ago, and a former band member just no-showed. It was just the three of us, and that was the first time that we were at that's ever happened to us.
Yeah, we were about 15 minutes from downbeat when it was like, all right, we just have to look at this. This was going to be three people.
That's the way it's
we've got
going.
to figure everything out.
Yeah.
One of my favorite pictures of the three of us was after that show. We all took a picture on stage together. I was white knuckling it the whole time because I was having to play solos that I had never played before, and there were some songs that we just kind of had to dump because they relied too much on the person that stood us up. And I'll say that night, actually, more than any other night, turned the three of us into just thick as thieves.
Right. Really great bonding experiences for you guys.
I did.
Yeah.
It was a rough night. I did.
Oh yeah, that was the next night. The Saturday was when you had like
So the person
Pyramid of Lone Stars on.
The person never showed up for either night. You just
No, we were supposed to play 2 nights and just never heard from
It's
the
a
person
whole other
again.
story we probably won't go down, but yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
okay.
Tune into Lee H1 behind the music for that story one of these days.
It also on the back end,
But it's also
a lot stronger.
It's worse than that because it's to no show, to do that, you're committing a crime that musicians we don't do.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who drink too much and don't, but those are normally the prima donnas, the no shows, George Jones, like Lee was mentioning. But on our level, we depend on each other to be there,
right,
and have each other's back. And when you don't do that, it's a sometimes an unforgivable sin.
You know, obviously, with anything, you're gonna have your crowd pleasers, and you're gonna have those that just simply don't like your genre at all.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
But you know what, John? When I was in my early 20s,
A long time
ago,
a different.
I remember I was playing bands, and I was playing for these older guys, you know, and we had a gig booked, but I told the guys, I was like, hey, I have a date that night. You know, girls were really important. I was like, I want to go out at this date. And I passed up playing that gig, and I went on this date. The date was, I don't even remember who the girl was, but I remember missing that date, missing that gig. I would give anything to have not missed that gig, because that was one more gig that I wasn't able to play with that guy who 10 years later passed away. And he was a good friend of mine. He was a tremendous guitar player, and I loved him. I never take these gigs for granted anymore. Sometimes they do feel like a job.
Right.
But at some point, it will be over. That's what life is.
Yeah.
And I will have these memories, and I want to keep these memories. And lately on Facebook, I've been going through all the pictures that I post year after year after year and put them in albums so I can remember those moments. And because those moments will always be there for me to remember.
Who would you say has had the biggest impact in your life?
It's been these two. Back when I had that incident in Missouri, if they hadn't been so supportive, I probably wouldn't even be here today. I've had bandmates, they would just show up and play the gig, and we've seen 100 bands, bands throughout the years that just they made good music together, but they just didn't get along.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be in a band like that. I've been in bands like that, but I never wanted to be in a band like that. If it wasn't for these two, I probably wouldn't even be here today. That means more to me than anything. And my current girlfriend has helped out so much with that, because she's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm real fortunate where I'm at right now. You know, to have a strong nucleus like us three, it's a little, I'm sure it's a little intimidating for the fourth person to come in, because we've had a few fourth people.
Yeah.
And, but, you know, we don't have high turnover in the band. I mean, you know, obviously some band members, you know, come and go, but this one that we have now, you know, after adding him in, has just been, he brings a lot of the rock vibe. You know, I have a lot of gray hair now, so that's what I bring to the band, and the beard, I guess. But
well, yeah, I let Lee vicariously live through my childhood with my father.
Yeah,
I love hearing stories about his dad. His dad looked like Marty Robbins.
Really?
And and
he did.
He did. And I'll say, you know, tell me this story, or, you know, his dad was a good contractor, good painter, and, you know, did a lot of drywall and stuff like that, which is, you know, and Jeff's really good at that too. And I just, you know, because I wasn't close to my dad, and they're both still really close to their dads, and so I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's amazing you can do that. Well, really good. Thank you. That was really good.
That was awesome, Lee. Wasn't expecting that answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all are just growing closer and closer. Yeah. Now, it's going to suck whenever y'all don't say he's.
I'm sorry, Lee.
He's married. I expect.
It'd probably be between my mom for all of my musical know-how and drive to do that, and her not wanting me to do it and me wanting to do it anyways. She had a major influence on me, has helped me through a lot of stuff. And the other one would probably be my wife, that I've known for my whole life, but we've been together for almost 19 years, and we've been through a lot of ups and downs and stuff, band related, not band related, just life and everything. But she's always somebody that's been right there by my side, and we've been able to figure out how to get through anything. And we try to inspire each other and everything just to keep going and keep creating, because she's an artist as well.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question because I have a lot of questions about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you came to the right place, buddy.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
What piece of advice would you give for the longevity of your relationship?
Communication.
Communication.
Easily. Just communication. We had a period in our marriage where we weren't communicating, and nothing got done, nothing got said, nothing got worked out. And it finally came down to, I think we started having like little weekly business meetings where we'd each have notes about things we needed to talk about, questions for the other people. We'd sit down for about an hour and have a little business meeting. Be like, all right, cool. We cool? Good. We've got these things worked out. And it just had to start small there, like just communications, the major key for not even just like marriage and romantic relationships, but just interpersonal stuff like this. Like you meeting us and building this relationship right now, we couldn't do this if we weren't communicating, and it comes down to communication.
I remember one night in particular that, you know, I had said that, you know, there's been a night or two here and there where I'd slip up and drink. And I remember one night in particular, I drank and I called Byron, and not too proud to admit I was crying.
Yeah.
And so he had me on speakerphone with him and his wife, and they were both just, you know, telling me, you know, it's okay, you know, you're still strong. Low point for me, especially since I had hung my hat on the fact that I had not drank in so long, and then to, you know, have a slip up night. Both of them were there, because normally if I drank, I would call one of them, and then, well, like that night, I think I talked to Jeff too, and then I called Byron and his wife Abby really just, you know, kind of, it's one night, you know, it's okay. And
he always thinks that he's letting us down.
Yeah. And I think, you know,
it's not us.
No, have you ever seen a professional counselor?
I think I am right now, actually.
I've actually.
No, but you know, I haven't.
That comes from somewhere. Your desire to make sure that you do the best for others, and when you don't, that you really are hard on yourself. That comes from somewhere.
Well, and it was always, I never made a fool of myself on stage.
Uh-huh.
It was always on the off nights, and so, you know, and literally the only person that was affected. I mean, I'm sure there were other people that were affected, you know. Like I said, they really supported me, and my girlfriend Carrie has supported me, and you know, now I'm with her, you know, literally every day and night now, and so it's, you know, that's, I mean, that's helped me a whole lot too. But I mean, it's, and I've also got some good friends that, you know, not in the band, that, you know, have been sober for. We've got a buddy that sits in and sings with us, and he's been sober for years and years and years, and so, you know, he and I talk about that. And I've got another friend. She comes to shows all the time, and she's been sober for years and years. And so, you know, you surround yourself with that kind of people.
Yep.
With good people like that, and you know, it helps.
What about you, Jeff?
Becoming a father probably had the biggest impact on me in life, because when you are responsible for another human being outside of yourself, like my wife and I have a great relationship, but she can take care of herself and I can take care of myself. But when you bring in a new person into the world who is solely responsible for you, it will change you. It changed me when we brought her home for the first time and put her on the couch in her car seat, and I realized that she is completely my responsibility. It will change how you have an outlook on life, and it has. Becoming a father probably had made the biggest impact on me on life, and it makes me realize how it must have been for my mom and dad as well.
Right.
You know, and I had a brother who passed away, and I think about how my dad dealt with that. You know, and how would I deal with something like a tragedy like he was an oak.
Right.
I would not be an oak. I would lose it. That's probably my greatest accomplishment in life is being a dad. Yeah.
Let me ask you though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you the same thing that I asked Byron over here, because you've been married longer than he has, right?
I have been. Mm-hmm.
What
We
would you
laugh
say?
a lot.
Yeah.
We laugh a lot. We enjoy each other's company. We will tell jokes. We will watch funny clips together, and we will read books together, or audible books, and we will talk about them. And we'll just go down these rabbit holes together. We just enjoy a lot of the same things, but not all the same things. And she'll bring up stories of stuff that I'm not that interested in, but I will listen, and she will teach me things, and I will do the same with her.
This life we're living it sure gets old. I've met a lot of women, I've seen a lot of lying highs, and I made some happy, and I made some cry.